Our mission statement has always been that we wanted to bring you guys fun. Lots of fun. Welcome back, folks. I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. Hope everybody is fit and well out there in YouTube world, but you join me today on my comfy sofa, and I thought it was about time we sat down and we gave you guys a bit of an update on what's going on behind the scenes. But I also thought it'd be a really good idea for anyone new to the channel to give you a bit of a backstory on why we started Run4Adventure in the first place and how we've got here today. First thing we need to talk about is that the channel has just hit 20,000 subs, which is, it really does blow my mind. I can't believe I'm saying that. When we started this little YouTube journey around 3 years ago, 20,000 subs seemed like a lifetime away, and now I'm sitting here today telling you guys that we've hit that milestone. Now, it hasn't come easy, and we have put in lots and lots of hours, that's for sure, building the channel, from content ideas to filming to editing and to learning lots of new skills, because when we started we really didn't have a clue what we were doing when it comes to cameras, which lenses to use, audio quality, and when you watch back some of that early content you really can see that, and I've got to be honest, it is a little bit cringeworthy to go back and watch it. Our mission statement here at the channel has always been that we wanted to bring you guys fun and informative running related content that our audience found helpful, but we also wanted the production quality to be as high a quality as we could achieve. I really feel that we're almost achieving that here at Run4Adventure now, and we've built up this incredible supportive family of viewers, so the support you guys give us is incredible. We want to say a massive thank you to everyone out there that's helped us over the years, supported the channel over the years, and helped us grow and get to where we are today. So if you're tuning in for the first time or you've recently discovered the channel, then thanks for watching. It's great having you along. But I thought it'd be a good idea to give you a bit of backstory about myself, about my running history, but also about why I thought it'd be a good idea to start Run4Adventure. So obviously I'm going to try and condense that story down as small as possible, because I don't want to be here all day boring you to tears. Going back to my early school years, and I remember running even being a big part of my life then. Sports day would come around and I'd want to enter every single race there was, from the 100 meters all the way up to the 1500 meters, and I wanted to win them all. I was even pretty competitive back in those early days. I soon discovered that that probably wasn't going to be achievable, and it was actually the longer distance stuff where I performed best. So I started to concentrate on the 800 meters and the 1500 meters, and a little bit of cross country in the winter time. Running kind of felt easy and came quite naturally for me, so I really started to get into it, and my running started to gather momentum. I started to take it a lot more seriously. I was racing for the school, and I think it was when I was about 12 years old, I was kind of training before school, after school, and at some lunch times, because the teachers could see I had some talent and they really wanted to push me. And then it happened, and I remember this like it was yesterday. I was racing in an 800 meters event at the time and I was winning it, and then all of a sudden I just couldn't catch my breath, to the point where I had to stop and pull out of the race and go and see the nurse because I was really struggling to breathe. But to cut a long story short, at that time I really didn't know what was going on, but it worked out that I developed asthma, and pretty bad asthma at that. So that pretty much stopped my running in its tracks, if you'll excuse the pun. But I continued to play lots of team sports at school: hockey, rugby, cricket, basketball, in fact pretty much every team sport there is. But I didn't run for running's sake, and I'd become quite dependent on that little inhaler, in fact a little bit too dependent. Fast forward around 30 years when I decided to move down to the clean ocean air of the Cornish coast, and my asthma pretty much cleared up straight away. It's funny how nice clean ocean air is helpful when it comes to asthma, and I really did feel like I was 12 years old again, and I was running free and I wasn't dependent on that silly inhaler. So I started running again down in Cornwall, and I actually entered my first marathon on Tresco on the Isles of Scilly. I really got stuck into my training. I joined a local running club, Hale Runners, that was so helpful, really helpful to my running. It progressed my running a lot, and I started to make some big improvements, and then the big day came around. I was obviously pretty nervous come race day morning, like most people are when they tackle their first marathon, but I was also quietly confident because my training had gone so well. So the start gun went off, I stuck to my pacing and my nutritional plan, and I had a pretty good day out there, and I managed to get across that finish line feeling strong in under 4 hours on a pretty tight looped hilly marathon course. I think I ran 3:45 for my first marathon, and I have to be honest, it went really well, and I loved every single step of it. The atmosphere, the support, the experience, and I was so proud of myself getting through that marathon distance for the first time. And I was hooked back on running, and as they say, the rest is history. I continued to run and improve, and I was running lots of local running races from 10Ks all the way up to marathon distance again. I dabbled with a bit of triathlon all the way up to Ironman distance and a bit of long course swimming. And it seemed to be the endurance side of the sport that really appealed to me. So after doing the Ironman, after riding John O'Groats to Land's End with a good friend Martin, I was looking for my next challenge, something to really push me mentally and physically. And I kept hearing people talking about ultra running, and back then it was kind of this sort of underground sport, and you'd hear friends talking about this woman who's just run 3 marathons in 3 days, or a bunch of guys have just run across the desert 250 kilometers in distance, and I was super interested, and I had to find out more. I jumped on Google and did a quick search, ultra running and ultra running races, and I was really amazed at what I discovered, and the more I read, the more I wanted to get involved in this sport. So I spoke to my training partner Martin at the time and said, let's run an ultra. He was up for it like he always was, so we thought, if we're gonna do this, let's go for it big time, dive in the deep end, and we entered Enduroman 100, which was a really tough, challenging, hilly, looped 100-mile race. Now, at this point of the video, I definitely have to say that that maybe was a bit of a silly decision, and I wouldn't recommend going straight to the 100-mile distance. It's much better to build up gradually with 50Ks, 50 milers, 100Ks, far more sensible and a lot safer, and I can definitely say I found that out the hard way. So come race day, I actually got through the first 50 miles pretty easy in about 9 hours 30 minutes. The course was challenging. You had a hill every loop, and the loop was only 1.04 miles, and we were doing that for 100 miles, so challenging mentally as well. Got to 50, really started to struggle. The body started to break down, started to tighten up, and not sure whether I'd taken on enough nutrition or hydration. And then as we were going into the nighttime section, the sun was going down, and I tripped on a tree root. I managed to save the fall, but I ended up damaging ligaments in my right ankle. And I can definitely say the second 50 was a lot slower and a lot more painful. I managed to crawl to the finish line and complete my first 100 miler in 28 hours. Yep, 28 hours. So you do the maths. 9 hours 30 for the first 50, and I completed it in 28 hours. So maybe not the best pacing, and definitely not a negative split. The repercussions from that race was that I couldn't run for 4 to 5 weeks, and I even had to go to hospital to get it x-rayed because I was really struggling with that ankle for a couple of weeks after. Even though the race didn't go to plan, I was definitely hooked on the long stuff, and I knew that I could run 100 miles a lot stronger and a lot better than that first attempt. So I ran lots of ultras after that, from 50Ks all the way back up to the 100-mile distance. I've taken on that 100-mile distance 13 times, including the iconic UTMB twice and the amazing Mud Crew Arc of Attrition, which is a really challenging winter coastal 100-mile foot race down here in Cornwall. And I've managed to improve that 100-mile PB from 28 hours down to 18 hours, so I'm pretty happy with that. So that is a brief history into my running background, and one of the reasons reasons that I thought it'd be great to have a running related YouTube channel. The other reason is I've worked in the running industry for nearly 10 years now, managing bricks and mortar running specialist stores. So I've been heavily involved with all running related products, from shoes, apparel and accessories, but I've also worked closely with brands like Brooks, Saucony, Hoka and Salomon over the years. I spent 6 to 7 years helping people find the right running shoe using gait analysis. Now, I know a lot of people tar gait analysis with the same brush because a lot of stores say they offer the service, but the service is far from that, and they're just using it as a tool to sell shoes. I personally think that if the person carrying out that assessment has a good understanding of product and a good knowledge of biomechanics, then it can be a really beneficial process when it comes to our road running shoes. If you'd have seen some of the crazy things that I've seen over the years with runners in the wrong and right shoes, then you would see that it can make a big difference. I've done about 5,000 gait assessments over the years, and I've watched people run barefooted and run in lots of different types of footwear, from Converse boots to skate shoes to running shoes from Lidl's, and lots of carry more footwear. And I can definitely say that a running shoe, a good technical running shoe that's right for that individual, really does perform better. So now we've got the channel Running Really Is My Life. From training and racing, working in the running industry for 10 years, I live, eat and breathe running, and this is why we thought Run4Adventure would be such a great idea. Right, so I also said I was going to give you an update on what's going on at the channel behind the scenes, and maybe talk about the injuries and niggles that I seem to be having all the time. This weekend we were supposed to be going away to Manchester to take on Manchester Marathon. I was really looking forward to the weekend, really excited about going back and running that marathon, as I'd enjoyed it so much the first time. But also I'd finally managed to talk in good friend, training partner Steve White to taking on a road marathon. Hasn't run a road marathon for 12 years, and we were going to go up there and chase that elusive sub 3 hour time. Unfortunately, we won't be making that trip to Manchester, I'm gutted to say. If you followed the channel, then you know over the last few months that I've been having these lower leg issues, and unfortunately they have flared up again. But also Steve managed to pick up a really bad cold, and he's been feeling terrible over the last 2 or 3 weeks, so he hasn't been able to get out there and get any sort of structured marathon training in. So when you put the two of us together, we make a right pair. Now, the other sad news we have when it comes to racing this year is we were supposed to be heading out to run Transvolcania at the end of October. For all you guys that aren't familiar with the race, it's one of the biggest ultra marathons in the world, and it attracts some of the best trail runners from all over the globe. It takes part on one of the islands in the Gran Canaries. Now, if you've been following the news, you are probably fully aware that there's been a volcanic eruption on La Palma, one of the Canary Islands, and now I wonder where that Transvolcania race takes place. Yep, you guessed it, it is on the island of La Palma. So unfortunately, Transvolcania this year has been cancelled. It really has been one of those years for me when it comes to my running, or should I say lack of running, what with recurring injuries, pandemics, races being cancelled, races being postponed, that when I heard about the volcano erupting, it really was the icing on the cake. And I think I'm just going to scrap this year and start again in 2022. We're obviously gutted not to be going out. We really wanted to go out to that stunning island and run that amazing race. But in the grand scheme of things, it's a tiny little problem when you compare it to what the locals on the island are having to deal with. I think I heard on the news the other day, nearly 1,000 homes have been destroyed. Lots of people have been made homeless. Lots of people are being evacuated off the island. I'm glad to say no one's lost their life, and I don't think anyone's been seriously injured, so that's definitely a positive thing. I've got my fingers crossed that the volcano is going to calm down and stop doing what it's doing, and they can get back to a bit of normality and start to rebuild their lives again. Hopefully they can put the race on next year so we can get out there, run the race, support the locals and support the island like they do when you're running the race. So with all racing off this year, I think the best thing I can do is try and get myself fit and strong, sort out all these niggles and injuries, because I'm going to be lining up on the arc of attrition next year in January. I'm going to going to be taking on the 100 miler for the 5th time, and Liga is going to be taking on the 50 miler for the 1st time. So we're really excited and looking forward to that event. We've got lots of exciting products arriving at Run4Adventure HQ to be tested and tried for you guys at home. So as soon as that leg injury has settled down, as soon as I feel fit enough to run, we're going to be super busy hitting the trails, hitting the roads, testing all this kit out. So we got a couple of packs in to review. First one being from Say Sky, channel favourite. This is their first sort of lightweight running pack that they've designed for those long training runs or for trail running, ultra distance stuff. Looks great in this black and high vis colourway. So all these little flecks are super reflective, so it looks great when it's lit up at night. But we've also had Innovate's Ultra Pro 5 set come in, so really impressed with this. First impressions look really good and I can't wait to try it out, if I'm honest. Got lots of sort of adaptation in the pack, so the bottles can be low with the long straws, or you can take the long straws off and put them in the top pockets. Loads of accessible storage in the pack as well, so super excited about that one. We've also managed to get hold of some winter essentials, so I've got a couple of waterproof running jackets, but we've also got a couple of small, really cool little head torches. We get asked on the channel quite often if it would be possible for Liga to sort of review and test some female specific kit. So the kind folk from Say Sky have sent her some apparel to test that she's been running in over the last couple of weeks, and Innovate were kind enough to send her a pair of their Ultrafly G300 trail shoes. So she's been running in them. Obviously not going to sit down like I do in front of the camera and do a full in-depth review, but we're going to probably go out for a run and discuss how she's felt the kit has performed, the fit, the fabrics, and the same thing with the shoes. So she's going to be making a few guest appearances in videos coming to the channel soon. Lastly, just before I sign out, the channel has just hit a massive milestone of 20,000 subscribers. So really want to say a massive thanks to all the amazing support that you guys have given the channel. It really is appreciated by myself and Liga. So just to show our appreciation, we are running a big giveaway this month where you can win lots of awesome Run4Adventure swag. So to enter the competition, all you have to do, guys, go along and watch our latest comparison video that featured the Salomon Ultra Glide and Saucony's Endorphin Trail. All the details of how to enter are in that video or in the description below. So don't miss out, guys. Get in the mix, because then you could have a bundle of Run4Adventure goodies heading your way. But that's it for now, guys. Really hope you enjoyed hearing a bit of the backstory about my running history and why we thought it was a good idea to start Run4Adventure YouTube channel. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We will see you back here very soon. Thanks for watching. It's always appreciated. And as always, stay safe and keep on running.